One of these days, you and I will meet somewhere that is not my bedroom floor for either a TBR or a monthly wrap up video. However, today is not that day. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another TBR video. I almost said a monthly TBR, but today's TBR is not a monthly TBR, and I guess it's not technically today's TBR either. It is the spring/summer TBR. I'm really bad at segues. Anyways, I'm here to show you, I think I have like 30-ish books, 25. Do I have 25? How many books do I have here? I don't know. 25. 25. I have 25 books that I want to read this spring/summer season. What does spring/summer constitute? Because we're already halfway through May. That's a great question. I don't know. Maybe August? I really don't know. But these are a bunch of books that I have had on my TBR for quite a while now, or they are new releases that I really want to read. I'm really excited to read these, and you're going to see a lot of familiar faces if you do anything on book content social media at all. There's a lot of familiar faces in here, but I'm very excited to show my TBR, show my TBR and share it with you. I just smushed them together. Do y'all want to see my, I'm gonna show you my TBR now. Since there are 25 books sitting in front of me, we're gonna start with the standalones, and then we're going to do duologies, trilogies, and then series. We're gonna just smush them together. But let's start with the ones that are just standalones on my list, because, you know, one and done type deal, right? I don't know. The first book is going to be The Invocations. Is it Invocations? Invocations. The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland. The Invocations by Crystal Sutherland, if you couldn't understand my babbling. I know actually nothing about this book. However, this is by the same author who wrote House of Hollow. I read that about this time last year, actually. I think it was February of last year. And that is the book that single-handedly got me back into reading. That one and Lightlark were the two that was like, wow, I love reading again, you know? So House of Hollow has a very special place in my heart. When it comes to what I remember from reading House of Hollow, do I remember anything? Because most of the time I don't. For this one, I actually do. I could tell you what happens to cover in that book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I loved it. And when I first started reading again, obviously I gave so many books 5 stars, and that is one of the ones that I still stand for with a 5-star rating. I love that book, and I would highly recommend it. So I'm very excited to read the Invocations by her as well, and I really hope I like this one as much as I liked House of Hollow. Moving on, we have a book that I was dying to get for years, and then I finally did. And now it's been on my TBR for almost a year and a half. This is Message Not Found by Dante. Is it Medema? I think it's Dante Medema. The cover is a little bit wrecked because I've tried to pick it up multiple times, and it's sun bleached. It's sat in my window for a while. Like, this copy of this book has been through some stuff, and I haven't even read it yet. This one I do know a little bit more about the premise. This one follows our main character, who I believe her friend goes missing up in the mountains, and like she doesn't get a signal with her phone, message not found type of deal. But past that, I really don't know. I think it's supposed to be like a thriller, mystery-ish, eerie in the mystery sense, but not in the horror sense, if that makes sense. Like, this is probably, is this my only thriller? And that's that. Moving on, we have The Gracier by Kim Liggett. I have not read any of these authors' names until right now. Can you tell? I have to check every time. I was totally enthralled with the concept of this book when I first heard about it last year from Destiny Sidwell and Sarah and all those other wonderful booktubers who were talking about this at the time. And I told my mom about it. I'm like, Mom, there's this book with this concept. It sounds really good. I think we should get it. We got it. My mom read it. I believe she gave it 5 stars. She said it was very good, and I've yet to read it. And my mom has been on my case recently. She's like, I have read all of these books that you have recommended to me, and you haven't read them. I need you to read them so you and I can talk about them. Love you, Mom. You're doing a great job with your reading this year. Phenomenal. If you've never heard of The Gracier, here is what I know. In this society, I think it's the age of 16, girls are said to have like some mythical powers or something crazy, so they're sent into the woods and they come out, I think it's like a year, 6 months later, and they're like new people. From that concept, gives me like Yellow Jacket vibes. If you don't know, that's a TV show where this plane crashes and then these girls survive in the wilderness with literally no one for I think it's upwards of a year. I know it's not exactly the same thing, but it's just like woodland survival. People are gonna die. that type of vibe, and I'm here for it. Now, we move on to the second thriller of the TBR, which is the only other thriller in the TBR, which is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. This is really funny how I stumbled across this book, because it wasn't by social media at all. My mom and I were in Barnes, and we were up by the customer service desk because we needed help finding a book for my little brother, and I saw this sitting up there just with like a random stack of books. My Barnes always has books literally everywhere. Like, it's not like a bad thing, right? They just have random stacks of the same copies of books everywhere, and I love it. And this is one of the books, and I've never seen it before. And I'm like, oh, what's the premise of this? But it's like Scary House Secrets, and it's a home. That's literally all I know. But that is, again, another book I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and I think that it's time that I finally do that, because it's almost embarrassing how many books are on my physical TBR that I haven't read. But nonetheless, I'm very excited for that one. And we are kind of moving on to the series-ish category. I know this book is part of a series, but they're interconnected standalones, and you'll see what I mean in a second. And that book is The Dead Guy Next Door by Lucy Score. I have never in my life read a Lucy Score book, but I own 5 of them, at least. I think I might have a couple more than that. And I am trying my hand at Lucy Score. I saw this book and I bought it. It sounded so interesting. I got this one at Costco, I think, actually. But I just really am so enthralled with the premise of this, and I'm very excited to see what I think of Lucy Score's writing, because I know she is very beloved, and obviously her novels are a little bit chunky, but I am ready to take it on. I have been reading a lot of big books lately, and I think this is a great one to add to the stack. Oh, good boy. Hi. Hey, Bubba's. Oh, hi, Baloo. Oh, hi, Bubba's. Let's move on to the actual series. None of these are interconnected standalones as far as I'm aware. However, we both know I could be wrong. The first series I really want to get to this warm weather season, for lack of a better term, is the Spirit Animal series. This is book 1. This is quite literally from like a scholastic book fair, but I have recently gone through and unpacked every book known to man in our house, and we set up our bookshelves a while ago, and I have been eyeing this series. Why? I don't know. I just really want to sit down and binge read this. It's really, really tempting, and I am going to do it very soon. So, Spirit Animals series. It's number 1. This next one is one I know my friend is going to be, at least one of my friends is going to be really excited for, because they have been begging me to read this book for about a month and a half now, because they read it and they're like, this is the best book I've ever read. I have your Goodreads. You haven't read this. I need you to read it right now. Like, that's how invested they are. And that is going to be A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is part of the ACOTAR series. So, A Court of Thorns and ACOTAR. If you didn't get that, there you go. Honestly, this series intimidates me, not because of the size of it, but because of how loved it is. I have a lot of really popular book talk or like book community books that have been hyped up by social media that people love, and I have never successfully found one that I love as much as other people. With that being said, do I know the premise of this? No. I think it has something to do with dragons. Does it? I don't think this has anything to do with dragons. Alright, well, I'm gonna find out what this has to deal with. I think it's time. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Here I come. Now that I'm like sitting down and looking at these book stacks, I'm just not realizing how many really popular book series I have in front of me. So we're gonna speed run through the other, I think, 4. I don't know if that would be considered 4, but like 3 or 4 series that I really want to read this summer that I haven't, that are going to turn some heads, I think, because a lot of people love these, and I want to be part of that fan club. So let me introduce you to the next series, which is going to be the, what is this even called? The Folk of Air series. So it goes Cruel Prince, Wicked King, and then the Queen of Nothing. I keep seeing freaking TikToks of these characters, especially is it Cardan? Cardan, is that Cardan? I keep seeing TikToks of his character, and I'm tired of not knowing his freaking lore. I don't get it, and I want to get it, so I'm going to read this, and I'm very scared. I'm also really excited, because again, this is one of the series that people love, and I want to be one of those people. The Cruel Prince trilogy, Folk of Air series. I don't know which one is the proper term, but I'm gonna read it. So I don't know if this one is technically considered like book talk popular. I don't know what makes a book book talk popular? Like, does it need to reach a certain amount of views or people reading it? I don't know. I just know that I've seen this book a lot on there, or I guess is a duology, and that is going to be the twist. This is the Twisted Crown series. No, this is the Shepherd King series. What am I talking about? What the fuck is the Twisted Crown series? Anyways, the Shepherd King duology, which is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns. My mom just finished reading Two Twisted Crowns. I'm not even kidding you. 2 days ago. 2 days ago, and I have been on her case about reading these, right? And she finished it, and I have been on her case, and I'm like, Mom, I want to read it, and our rule is that I can't read it until she's read it if she's in the middle of reading a series, which is why I haven't read Shatter Me yet, because she's in the middle of book 4 and has been since the last year, freaking October, Mom. And I'm excited to see what Espith and Raven. Why are names so confusing? But I'm excited to see their story and what comes of it, which might sound weird. Is it? That's not weird. That's what you do when you read. Page. My shenanigans aside, we have 3 more series that I will want to read this warm weather season. I hate saying spring and summer. I don't know why. This warm weather season. That also sounds stupid. But the other one that again, this is kind of the same boat as The Cruel Prince. I have these two, Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, which fall into that same boat of I want to love him, but the question is, am I going to? But I do know I'm completely intrigued by the premise of this. I want to see where it goes. Let's talk about the second to last series. I don't know when I bought this series, and it probably is not going to look familiar to anyone because I've never in my life heard anybody talk about this series. And I don't, like I said, I don't know where I picked it up, but it is the Wildwood series. These books are thick. They hold freaking secrets, okay? And what I know about this is nothing other than the fact that I cannot hold them in one hand. Oh no, I'm really excited to see what the series is about. But we are now on to the final 2, which are 2 books I've actually already posted about. I haven't read them, but I've already posted about them because I've read the first book in the series and absolutely adored it. So I did post about the other 2 and hope they live up to the hype. But those 2 are going to be The Daughter of the Siren Queen and Vengeance of the Pirate Queen. The first book is called Daughter of the Pirate King, and I did like it. I really did. It was just for fun. It was for funsies. There was a cute romance, there was plot, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that story goes in these 2 because they are connected. And I want to see the characters again. They're so funny. They're so witty. Their banter is amazing. And I am just very excited to see where the story goes, what happens. And it is a little bit fantasycal. It has a little bit of magic in it. So I'm excited to see how that works too. But anyway, that series aside, those are 25 books that I want to read in this warm season, which is insane. Do I think I'll get to all of them? No, absolutely not. With my track record, I probably will not. So realistically, what is my goal? At least 10. It's a little bit less than half. And I do have quite a few trips planned this summer, so I know I won't be able to read the entire summer like I did last year, but I am hoping to get through at least 10 of these. But I don't know, maybe I will read more than that. Because last summer I was doing school still. I was still working on my degree, and I'm not doing that this summer. I'm taking a break. But either way, I'm really excited. I'm enthralled. I want to see what happens. It'll be like the summer of reading growth or something. I don't know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for letting me introduce these books to you, or reintroduce. I'm sure you've heard of at least a couple of them if you have been on the wonderful part of the book side of the internet before. But I'm very excited for all of these. Hope you are too. Let me know what books you want to read this spring, or if you have thought that far ahead this summer. You know, I don't know. I'm just really bad with timing. But yeah, let me know. And any books do you want to see me read this summer? You know, I'm always taking suggestions, open to conversation or whatever. Books. I just wanted to share my books with you today. So thank you for letting me do that. Have a wonderful time with your stories and your books. Until next time. And I look forward to seeing you guys when that time is. That was really bad wording. I really am not doing a good job talking today. Have a wonderful time reading. Bye.